Hello guys. So morning everyone, and the class is going live as well. Everyone got the handouts. For the online students, you will get the handouts uploaded on the portal shortly after the class. Okay. And the students who have already joined the classes online, they are getting the handouts. Let's start the class of current affairs. This is a demo class for offline. We have like limited seats of 120 students only. So after the class, everyone, whoever feels to join the class, they can join. Okay. About current affairs, let's understand a little bit, then we will proceed with mains, prelims, how to, progress with it. How many of you are giving the first attempts? Second attempt? Okay. 50% students, first attempt, 50% second. Third attempt? Good. Nice balance. So I would like to start the class with asking you a question. I'm expecting answers from the second and third attempt students. Let's understand about something about current affairs as a subject first. Okay. Anybody has studied Buddha's philosophy? Buddha's philosophy, good. Or Buddha, it is a part of your ancient history. Padha hoga thoda bahut, little bit. And online students can also comment. Buddha's philosophy starts from where? No soul. No, it doesn't start from there. Eightfold Path is the solution. Four Noble Truths. But from where did he thought out that Four Noble Truths should be given? Good. Grief. Very good, very good. Buddha's philosophy starts from suffering, grief. There is suffering in this world. And then he gives Four Noble Truths, what is the cause of suffering, and Eightfold Path, how the suffering can be eliminated. Okay. So the current affairs is the greatest suffering for UPSC aspirants. What should be the path to take out from this current affairs? Because why it is the most difficult thing to handle current affairs? Reason is that this subject is not at all organized. It is being dealt in a compartmentalized manner. Little bit of polity we have read. Someday we have read editorials. Someday we got a very good article into opinion section in the newspaper. And how do we prepare the notes of it? In prelims, you are seeing that any kind of question is coming. Any one of you can tell me what is the syllabus of current affairs mentioned by the UPSC? See, this is the problem with current affairs. With all other subjects, you have a definite book to proceed with, to start with. In an organized format, you are studying that thing. But with current affairs, sometimes we are studying, giving more importance to science and technology and environment section. This is happening for prelims. For mains, whenever mains is there, we are giving more focus towards governance, polity, different laws, different amendments that have been done, judicial pronouncements that have been done. But how do we proceed in an integrated manner? If you are able to, decode the, same news. In the introductory video also I have told you, for example, if I talk about Manipur crisis, understand, this is the crux of the preparation, what UPSC expects from you. If you are studying Manipur crisis, then your focus should be what questions can be asked into prelims, what questions can be asked into mains. Your awareness about both of the things is very important. Whenever you are reading G20, for example, right now India is having the presidency of G20, various kinds of meetings are happening all across the India. Okay, 27th, tomorrow we have B20, Business 20 meeting. Okay, then you would be hearing here in Delhi that like next month for 5-10 days, G20 meet will be conducted. US is coming up with more than 100 delegates over there. What is the significance of this news with respect to the mains examination? You're getting my point. And also understand, there are three things like sensational news, where you get entertained. For example, Chandrayaan-3 happened. Okay, it was a historic moment for all of us to witness that. But point is, as a UPSC aspirant, you should dig in deep that what facts can be asked. Do you understand that Chandrayaan-4 is also being planned with Japan? What are the objectives for it? UPSC may go and ask about Chandrayaan-4. It's not just about celebration and memes for an UPSC aspirant. That you have to understand. And for your mains preparation, What is the significance for privatization of ISRO? India Space Policy 2023 has been unveiled recently. India Space Policy. So Chandrayaan is just a part of it. Space diplomacy, how we are going to proceed with it. And this is all integrated current affairs, integrated items. In your syllabus, UPSC mentions current events of national and international importance. That's it. Current events of national and international importance. Therefore, they are not giving you any specificities. They are not giving you any specificities. Therefore, for us, what is important is we have to look at syllabus. It is not defining much for the prelims. We have to look at the previous year questions. What has been the focus area? Basically, here I am discussing what should be my focus area while teaching you. Like today also, while dealing with different topics, we will be discussing what are the PYQs that have been asked so that you understand. For example, we'll be taking up topic today, Chat GPT is there. On artificial intelligence, already UPSC has asked the question. Blockchain technology, UPSC has asked the question. And I will also, lean you towards what are the areas where UPSC is interested in. For example, in technology, your subject is not just science and technology. They are not asking questions from, chemical or, physics per se. They are asking you questions from emerging technologies. Which technologies are emerging? That kind of understanding only PYQs can give you. Previous year questions. So for studying current affairs, what topics are in news? For example, Chat GPT, this year only it revolutionized. But how it is functioning, that is important. Okay. So this is how we are going to proceed with respect to current affairs, and while taking the things in an integrated manner, what could be the benefits? In an integrated manner, understand that if you are doing it, you are definitely going to ace in the examination. Don't compartmentalize your studies. That what happens, so those who are giving second attempt or third attempt, what happens with their preparation? Just before prelims, 3-4 months back, you find any panacea that some material I will just study and I'll just mug up certain current affairs. Okay. And I will do certain tests for current affairs. And then I will find that yes, I am at a competitive edge. But do you actually get that edge? No. You would have heard about it that some toppers might be telling you that both the preparation should be combined, and understanding of mains also gives you an edge for solving the prelims questions. Why do they say so? Why do they say so? Because you actually get that edge while doing the integrated preparation. And second thing, first thing is about integrated preparation, you organize it. Second thing is about you save yourself, you save a lot of time by mugging up the facts. Any species in the news, we mug up. Status, we mug up. How the, like ST status is given to the meaties, we mug up for the prelims. Some students are laughing. And many of the students, one student is from the previous batch also, he came to me and asked that, sir, yaad kaise rakhna hai? After the class, how do we remember that? This is a pain point for students. So much facts are there. Point is that because you are not understanding the context of the news, you have not analyzed the news in the perspective it is. What is the perspective? Why it is in the news today? Why it was not in the news like 3 years back? What made it so prominent? You do not understand the implications of it, significance of it. Therefore, it becomes difficult. You're getting the point. Therefore, it becomes difficult. From here on itself, this is the sweet spot for starting your current affairs journey for the prelims 2024. From here on, if you understand the perspectives, you understand the stories. Basically, how do we memorize anything? We cannot memorize just the numbers unless and until you have a pictographic memory. Okay. What happens that we can only remember stories, visuals. How do we feel about it? Did we enjoy? Did we find the irony into it or not? Why Chandrayaan 3 became so important? It was an emotional moment for all of us. Every one of us felt that we have reached to the moon. It was not so important for other countries of the world. Okay, therefore, whenever you are going through these perspectives, implications, significances, criticisms, challenges, way forwards of these news, then facts become, trivial things for you to remember. And all of you have got the handouts. Okay, so for the mains point is that, second point is that understanding. Therefore, no mugging is required. And by understanding only you can remember the facts. By understanding what happens, the substratum of the facts is there in your mind, where to keep those facts. Otherwise, right now, if I ask you 5 or 10 facts, you can remember. Later on, what will happen? You will forget it, because where do you stick those facts in your mind without the stories? You're getting the point. After revision, after the class, what will happen? You know the story, you can remember that story, and while revising, you will get where to put on the facts. In what perspective you will remembering those facts. Second is about understanding. Third benefit you will get is for mains. Students feel a lot of pressure just after clearing prelims. I hope that you people are not just here to clear the prelims. Anybody is here only to clear the prelims? Then I would ask that person, please don't sit in the class. You are wasting your time otherwise also. Objective is to ace in the mains also. Okay? Abhi se, if you are starting prelims come mains, then what will happen? That as soon as you are clearing the prelims, because believe me, we can continue this journey till January, prelims come mains. After prelims is nearing, my focus will be on the rapid revisions of the prelims facts, so that no doubt, no element of doubt is there in your mind. But for mains, you have handouts. Just with these handouts and 2 to 3 A4 sheets on which you people will be taking running notes, your topics are prepared. Like today we are going to take Indo-Pacific Economic Framework as the main topic. From this topic, I am expecting prelims question as well. Okay, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. So let's start and have a strategy. I will give you strategies for prelims also, those who are in the foundation batch. I know some topics will find it difficult to cope up also. Find a strategy. I'll give you, like, for example, into the economic development, what is most important thing UPSC is looking at? We are reading everything, capital market, share market, whatever news is coming, we are reading everything. We are consuming information. We are putting our labor to consume a lot of information. And we are thinking, yes, I'm doing hard work. But this is not the perspective. You have to do hard work. Smart work doesn't mean that you don't need to do hard work, but in a right direction. For that, you have to understand that if you are not in the right direction, what will happen? You are putting just your energies, you're diffusing your energies, and last me you are feeling, I'm not able to sleep, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that. So when you are in the right direction, utilizing the handouts in an organized format, then you will definitely feel comfortable. And believe me, I'm giving you the last mantra. 2024 prelims, just day before it, I'll ask you only one question. I ask all the students only one question. Not that how much fact you remember, not that how much you have put hard work. Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling confident? This is the question that I ask. And the answer must come from your heart, not from your mind. Genuinely, everyone knows that. Are you feeling confident enough or not? Am I right? Those who are second or third attempters, you know from your heart that I have done hard work, but I don't know what I have studied. This is the problem. Okay. For that reason, what happens that you have to understand, for example, in the economic development, inclusive growth is the focus area. Inclusive growth, different policies that are being launched, inclusive growth, structural reforms in different institutions, for example, banking sector, health sector. So I'll be telling you different subjects, for example, science and tech, how to proceed and how to classify the subjects into space technology, into emerging technologies, information and computer science technologies. Okay, like not just Bitcoin, CBDC has also been launched, central banking digital currency. So how to classify the information? Random news पढ़ने से भी फायदा नहीं होगा. You won't be benefited from that random news. Okay, so let's start the class. Write down the headings: Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. and write down, it is an economic framework. It is an economic framework it is an economic framework, not a free trade agreement. It is a US-led initiative to strengthen. It is a US-led initiative to strengthen economic partnership among participating countries to enhance resilience, sustainability, to enhance resilience, sustainability, inclusiveness, economic growth, and competition in the Indo-Pacific region. In the Indo-Pacific region. इंडिया लिखना नहीं, अब समझना है अपने को थोड़ा सा, ठीक है? विल जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड. If roughly I draw the global map, you will find that, for example, this is India. Okay, from here this China, and it will go like this. Here you will find Malaysia somewhere, Indonesia, Taiwan. Okay, and here this is United States of America. Here you will find New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and Australia. Okay, South Korea and all. Try to understand that. I'm giving you certain perspectives. We'll understand the context of the news also, what led to the formation of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. In mains, what is important is, for scoring, we are here to beat the competition of UPSC. We are here to beat the competition of UPSC. Certain concepts, certain terminologies are extremely important. Okay, certain concepts which I do understand that some students who are studying like PSI are optional, they would be understanding, but what about the other students also? So what is happening, that try to understand, it is an economic framework, not a free trade agreement. Free trade agreement has certain obligations. For example, like India has free trade agreement with ASEAN. We have free trade agreement with ASEAN, Thailand. We have comprehensive economic participatory agreement with SEPA with Singapore. In this region only, Singapore is here somewhere. Okay, with Singapore. Comprehensive economic participatory agreement with Singapore. Why are we doing these agreements? Why are we doing these agreements? To enhance more and more trade, to enhance more and more competitiveness. Okay, till here everything was good. Till here everything was good. But understand the perspective, what is happening here. We already have an organization called as World Trade Organization, which is promoting free and fair trade all across the globe, all across the globe. But with the World Trade Organization, what is happening? China has been benefiting a lot. China has been benefiting a lot. To contain the China, US has come up with Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, in which they will be promoting different kinds of trades. Basics understood? Basics everyone understood? Okay. Now write down, there are 14 countries into it. Of course it is, see, this is how you need to remember this. If I said this is there to contain China, therefore China will be part of it. Basically, this is going to counter China. So will China be part of it? No. Understood? So in your examination, Simple question in your prelims that can come is, which of the following 6 countries will be mentioned? Which of the following are part of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework? One option might be China. By eliminating China, you will get the answer. You're getting the point. Because now you understand this is there to, contain the China, eliminate the China. Okay. How do you remember these 14 countries? Write down ASEAN, ASEAN, ASEAN nations minus MLC. MLC means Myanmar, Laos and Cambodia. ASEAN minus MLC. Then South Korea, New Zealand, Fiji, and Quad. QUAD, Quad in capitals. If I'm telling that it is not an FTA, it means obligations. So therefore, write down just one more line that IPEF is not a take it or leave it deal. IPF is not a take it or leave it deal. Here, take it or leave it deal. Here, negotiations and partial agreement is also permitted. Unlike other multilateral agreements. Unlike other multilateral agreements. Now let's understand the context. First thing that I have told you to contain the China. Okay. Context is what led basically in what scenario we are right now. What are the present realities? I'm just defining what does the context mean. While writing the mains answers in the introduction, basically you mention the context. Most of the time you mention the context. Sometimes we start with certain data. For example, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework reflects 40% of the global GDP. This is a data to start with. Okay. Context means first point you can write, contain China's debt trap diplomacy. Debt trap diplomacy. Write down in this debt trap diplomacy. Basically, China is investing money in the areas which are less economically viable. China is investing money in the areas which are less economically viable, but strategically more important. You are doing what you are understanding what China is doing. For example, you can write the example to substantiate your argument is Hambantota port. Second thing, what China is doing, one thing it is investing money in those areas. Second thing, it is converting its economic growth into military power. It is converting its economic growth into military power. This is basically a threat for all of us. This is basically a threat for all of us. I will get to more of the context. This is the present reality to contain China's debt trap diplomacy. Basically, what it is creating a problem. For that, we have to get to the roots of the problem. This is what I'm mentioning it as a present reality. Or who is getting more threat from the China? Any example? Who is getting threat from the China? Maximum threat by the China is to whom? US. Huh? Taiwan. Okay. India. India. Good. See, all the three answers were right. But as a global power, it is the biggest threat to US. Why do you think that it is a threat to the US? Why? What? Very good. The influence of the US, the global power dynamics, basically the geopolitical center of the power is shifting from Atlantic to the Indo-Pacific right now. Why did it happen? We will talk about that also. Because of globalization, what had been the circumstances, we'll understand that what led to the formation of Indo-Pacific economic framework. But you understand everything. Here what is happening is, therefore, because it is the greatest threat to the US, therefore US is proactive in making such policies to contain the China. It has that leadership. For that matter, in the geopolitics, understand that one thing is called as poster boy. Okay. US does not have any presence in the Indo-Pacific region, here in the Pacific or Indian Ocean region. But what is it is happening that it is involving India along with it. And India is drawing a delicate balance with national interest. You will find that India did not sign one pillar also. I'll talk about it. With national interest and having a support of the global power. Not aligning with them, but having a support of the global power also. Okay. So therefore, write down. It's a proactive policy from United States of America. It's a proactive policy from United States of America, and a reactive stance and a reactive stance has been taken by India Okay, full stop. Just understand, I'm writing something here. Trump administration. You can take some running notes also. Trump administration. This is for your understanding. During the Trump administration, what was the thing? You would have heard a lot of times US first. US first. Okay. Or what we call as near shoring. This word is extremely important. Near shoring. In this budget also it has been talked about. Near shoring. I will explain about it also. Near shoring. Then recently when Joe Biden came, he extrapolated the policy. America first is fine. America first in all the matters is fine. But what about if another competitor is giving some competition? You would have heard about currency war. Currency war between US and China was happening some time back. Therefore, Biden said that pivot to Asia. The policy was pivot to Asia. And it is basically an outcome of pivot to Asia. This Indo-Pacific economic framework was launched. Okay, we have understood the cause of it to contain the rise of China and how US administration came to this Indo-Pacific economic framework. Now let's understand what led, because you would have definitely understood little bit about World War I, World War II also. Okay, US was already so powerful. Okay, it was not even ready to participate in World War II also. But how come powers, big powers like USA need to pivot to Asia? Why they are pivoting towards Asia? Because Asia has become right now powerful. Asia has become right now powerful. Basically, globalization. We'll understand the concept related to globalization. You write down a word here in the globalization. First stage is write down movement of people. Movement of people during colonial era. Movement of people during colonial era. People were moving. This led to, because people were moving, they will not move empty handed. They are going for certain businesses. This led to the movement of capital. It means that here in the brackets you can write globalization led to the financialization. FDI, foreign direct investments, remittances, movement of capital started across the world. But then what happened, certain countries understood that we are at the cusp moment from where more people are siphoning more money from us and investing in different countries. Therefore, it led to basically a thing called as xenophobia also. Xenophobia. Cultural shocks were there. For example, in the France, you would have understood certain issues were there. Sikhs were not asked, they cannot keep kripans. In the military of US, they cannot wear turbans. These kind of restrictions were there. This led to the xenophobia. Cultural shocks were there. So the movement of people stopped somewhere. Visas were not given. No, visas were denied. It is difficult to get H1B visa of US. Students are finding it easy F1 visa. For the studies, they are taking F1 visa. Therefore, movement of people, because of these things and cultural shocks, movement of people stopped. Okay, this was first shock for the globalization. Globalization means basically interdependence. You have to understand these concepts. Then only in that perspective, you will be able to locate Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. Tomorrow, if I'll be talking about any other agreement, then you will get to know what are the different dynamics of international relations. Till here, everyone is clear? Then what has happened into the globalization? Digitalization came. After this financialization, you will find digitalization. During digitalization, certain things into the globalization, one thing is very good, cultural exchanges started to happen. Okay. Therefore, because of digitalization, here FDI was happening, foreign direct investment, capital investment was there. Now FII, foreign institutional investors are there who can put their money and take it back anytime. Okay. Anything happening anywhere across the US or Europe is affecting India and Asia. Or anything happening into the Asia. For example, ASEAN financial market crisis was there in 2008, 2009. Okay. ASEAN financial crisis. This has impacted US also. Subprime crisis in US has impacted Asian countries also. This effect, that anything happening at one part of the world and affecting the other part, is called as butterfly effect. Digitalization reinforced the globalization in such a manner that anything happening at one part of world cannot be decoupled with another part. This effect is called as butterfly effect. Okay. Now, because of this butterfly effect, certain threats were there. Digitalization is a double-edged sword. On one hand, we find it very much comfortable to order anything from Amazon in the United States of America, or Natu Natu song getting the Oscars. People using their, that car are celebrating over there with different kinds of lights on and off. The woke culture, the culture belonging to the individualism, the rights of the LGBTQ plus coming towards India and getting legalized. This is all because of digitalization, globalization. Now, because of that, right now, one threat is about data sovereignty. Data sovereignty and data security. And here starts the retreat of globalization. Here starts, write down, here starts the retreat of globalization. And here starts the retreat of globalization and formation of regional blocks, formation of regional blocks, and for your understanding, you should be writing this. Now, in simple terms, from multilateralism, this was the touchstone of globalization, multilateralism. From here, we have moved to plurilateralism. And from here, we have moved to minilateralism. Now, miniature form of multilateral blocks are there. समझ में आ रहा है? Any problem to anyone not understanding any kind of concepts? From multilateralism, because of those problems, now we are moving towards plurilateralism to minilateralism. Now, small group of countries are forming their blocks. And that is being given due importance. Right now, you are not finding that everyone is happy participating in WTO, World Trade Organization. Rather, people are forming free trade agreements, comprehensive economic participatory agreements. Why this is happening? Because of this dynamics of the globalization. Okay, wait. One more perspective of the globalization that we should understand, because this will complete it forever. This issue is, in the globalization, what was the most important? Here, draw two diagrams like this. Economic efficiency in globalization. The start of globalization, basically in India, we opened our economy in 1991. Before that, our economy was also closed. Okay. The wave of globalization was there, already there. Just we started to surf on that wave of globalization. Globalization talks about free economy. This is called as basically opening up extreme economy. No role of state should be there. State should not inhibit any kind of trade. Private players should be given due chance. This is called as Washington Consensus. This is called as Washington Consensus. Into the Washington Consensus, write 3 points. Free market, economic interdependence, okay, and offshoring. Third point is offshoring. Now let's understand one thing. Because of that, what happened, that because of offshoring means that, for example, in the United States of America, the labor is highly costly. Therefore, most of the Indians are being hired to work over there into the Silicon Valley itself. Okay. The cost of raw material is also costly over there. Therefore, because of this interdependence. Because of this offshoring, they have started to invest their money mostly into China. How did China become so powerful all of a sudden? Why US needed to have the policy that pivot to the Asia? Because they were offshoring their manufacturing units. They are putting capital into the areas from where the profit can be more. They focused on free market, that globally we should invest money into those countries from where we can generate maximum profit. This was the only thought in the Washington consensus. And we did not consider any role of the state. We were understanding that the whole world is a globalized world. We all are so much connected right now. Okay. But here, one issue was there. This led to this whole Washington consensus when followed. For example, World Trade Organization is an outcome of this only, Washington consensus only. But WTO benefited mostly China more than Western countries. Although their interests are more into the WTO, but the benefits were reaped by the China more in the globalized world. It basically, write down one issue with the Washington consensus, write down, it led to the weaponization of trade and supply chain. It led to the weaponization of trade and supply chain by China. Next point into that, weaponization of energy, weaponization of energy by Russia. Nord Stream to Europe, that gas pipeline is there. Nord Stream to Europe. And this led to the China becoming manufacturing powerhouse of the world. China becoming manufacturing powerhouse of the world. When this happened, world realized that Washington consensus failed us. One more reason that I'm not making you write is just for your understanding. Just understand, black swan events are happening. Inequality has already been increasing. You're seeing the disparity in the growth prospects. In terms of climate change, already inequality is there. Therefore, Washington consensus failed us. G7 countries did understand that. Okay. Washington consensus failed us. Therefore, we understood that this kind of things are not going to work right now. Therefore, from this in this present circumstances, retreating globalization, we had started to focus on economic efficiency plus national security. Here our focus was on offshoring. Now our focus is on nearshoring or friendshoring. Nearshoring or friendshoring. With the friendly countries sharing common values like liberal values of democracy, we will trade because that will ensure our national security. Right now you are seeing the China. Okay. Although they say that they are a democracy, but they are not a functional democracy. Mostly it's an authoritarian regime. Therefore, we focused on friendshoring or nearshoring. Our focus is not just about economic efficiency, but about national security also. Okay. So what happens that if we start to focus on national security, just understand it. I want you to understand and feel the concept. How to focus on the national security? Does private sector focus on the national security? It is the responsibility of state. State. Again, here you have seen free market economy to role of state gets enhanced here. Here's role of state we have decreased in the Washington consensus. Now the role of state becomes more important. Now the role of state becomes more important. Therefore, what will happen that role of state is important in providing the security. Private player plus state, both comes into the picture. Now, For the trade, what will happen? Just understand first. For the trade, our private players will be producing more efficiently. But the state will be deciding with which countries will be doing that trade, not with the China. Where our national security is strong enough. For example, why I am saying that weaponization of supply chain. You understand it? What does it mean? For example, tomorrow China says that during COVID times we have seen that China says that I am not going to manufacture Apple laptop, MacBook anymore. Supply in India will be stopped. It is manufactured in China itself. Most of the electronic goods are manufactured in China. Therefore, it has weaponized the supply chain. It has become like a weapon for it. It has become the powerhouse. So it can give threat, it can give challenge to any country in the world right now. Weaponization of energy by Russia, I mean that if Russia stops supplying energy to the Europe, Europe will go out of the lights. There will be dark in the Europe. Just a second. Okay. And another thing is weaponization of finance by USA. A 2 minutes break, huh? Okay, let's start. Okay, weaponization of supply chain, de-weaponization we talked about. Okay. Now, because of the weaponization of supply chain, finance, energy, what is happening? The world is seeing that the goal of the target of globalization is not being achieved here. It is giving us a threat that some countries, arms and ammunitions are not required. But our national security will come to a threat because of this weaponization only. Therefore, everyone started that, okay, economic profit is good per se, but not at the cost of national security. This is called as Cornwall Consensus. Cornwall Consensus. In 2001, in 2021 itself, it was discussed. Cornwall Consensus. Prioritizing, write down Cornwall Consensus, prioritizing security over efficiency. And trade limited to friendly countries. Trade limited to friendly countries, which is in a way called as friend shoring or near shoring. Friend shoring or near shoring. Okay. Now, one more concept I'll be telling you. From here, you understand globalization. Only the role of private players were there. We were talking about offshoring and free market. From here, what has happened? We found Cornwall consensus, where state and private players both will lead the globalization in a controlled manner. That which countries we should be having trade to, you know, eliminate the chances of weaponization of certain things. Now, from here, China said that no, 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 no. I will not leave even Alibaba, the private player. He is gone right now. China said that I believe in totally state-led model of globalization. I will globalize the world on my terms and how I want it. Okay, so write down state-led model of globalization. State-led model of globalization. And export-led growth. And export-led growth is called as Beijing consensus. Beijing consensus. Three consensus we have studied today, meaning if you have understood, you don't need to explain it to the examiner. While writing this, if you have an understanding of the meaning, you can write about during the Cornwall consensus, this is happening. Because of Washington consensus, that is happening. And because of Beijing consensus, this thing is happening. Okay, state-led model. So these are the three concepts that you can utilize. Understand that how you are going to use this information as a repository. What led to the formation of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework? Now you have got the points. Okay, because of this Indo-Pacific Economic Framework came. Okay. Because now we want to near shore with the countries. USA is understanding that the friendly countries just like India, okay, Malaysia, Quad groupings, we already share a grouping. ASEAN, we already share a grouping. That's how we are going to contain the China. Now we are not saying that yes, China is a very good, it has a very good manufacturing powerhouse. Let's include China also for the economic efficiency. We are prioritizing national security. Therefore, it does not have China into it. Okay. Now write down the 4 pillars of. Now let's come to the topic of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. That was the context and why it was in the news, the perspective. First pillar, trade pillar, write down. Trade policy. Trade policy, into it write down higher labor standards, higher environmental standards, and digital trade data. Digital trade data. Higher labor standards, higher environmental standards, and digital trade data. Now in the bracket write down, India did not join trade pillar. India did not join trade pillar. Second is resilient supply chain. Second pillar is resilient supply chain. What is the problem right now we are facing? I have discussed with you weaponization by China. Now APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. You will read in your prelims also for that matter. APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. In India, the medicines which are being manufactured are imported. APIs are being imported only. This is not giving us that resilience. Tomorrow for the medicines also we are dependent on China. The whole world is dependent on China. So India is right now have launched a scheme. Which scheme? In which for the manufacturing of APIs? Anyone? Second and third attempts. Bulk drug park scheme. Bulk drug park scheme has been launched by India. Okay. So basically, we want that China's dominance into certain sectors, we want to contain. In the solution, when we'll be writing the way forward, we will understand that how we are containing it by China plus one policy. By China plus one policy. The next thing you write, clean energy. Third pillar is clean energy. What? India has joined other three pillars. Only trade pillar India did not join. Clean energy. It talks about, write down the word decarbonization to net zero emission. Decarbonizing the economy to net zero emission. There is a problem in this clean energy. As an argument, you should understand is, well, like Washington consensus says that there should be free flow of money, free flow of capital, free flow of labor should be there. Therefore, after doing the near shoring, now we are not open to the world. But understand that into this globalization, how Indo-Pacific Economic Framework formed. Understood? Now in this IPEF, we are friendly countries. Okay. For example, you people have group of friends. You all are not friends with everyone. As per the Washington consensus, we all should be friends. Wherever economic efficiency is there. But what happens? We choose our friends. We find comfortable with different kind of people. But once we have decided our friends, then we should be open to them. Once we are calling you a friend, we should be totally open. Then the national interest should, after deciding upon the national interest, we became friends. Now we should focus totally on economic efficiency. But what is the problem here right now into the clean energy? We are, after becoming friends in the IPF, 14 countries, now you should follow Washington consensus. We should have free market. But here, Paris climate deal, you understand? Paris climate deal. The rule book in 2020, it has been written. They are saying that we will give you money, we'll give you capital investments once you decarbonize. If you are believing in this Washington consensus into free market, then you should be giving money. It doesn't matter whether we decarbonize or not. We are a developing nation. We are talking about small islands like Fiji over here. It's a part of this grouping. Therefore, it is contradictory in itself. Into the clean energy, write down into the clean energy. on one hand, IPEF focuses on Washington consensus. On the one hand, IPEF focuses on the Washington consensus, providing free market to the participating countries. On the other hand, it is emphasizing, that investment will come with decarbonizing of projects. Okay, got it? Fourth pillar is fair economy. Now understand the discrimination over here. You understood this discrimination over here, but still India joined it. Why do you think so India joined it? Only India did not join trade pillar. This India joined, and India joined fair economic also. We already are ambitious about climate change mitigation. We had like Panchamrit concoction has been given by India itself. Okay, we have the 5 agendas over there. So we are ambitious in mitigating this clean energy, but we are talking about CBDR, combined but differentiated responsibilities. Okay, therefore India wants to be part of it because you understand that there is a word called Thucydides trap. Okay, we will talk about it later on. Today concepts have been a lot. Okay, basically what happens that whenever you are emerging as a global leader, with great power comes great responsibility also. Therefore, it is your responsibility, becoming the fifth largest economy of the world, that you are taking steps towards climate change mitigation also. We have become the largest populous country right now. Okay, so therefore we are part of this, but we have been fighting for this CBDR. We are not buckling here, and we are raising the voice of global south also over here. Now, fair economy. There is this question has already been asked by UPSC. Write down base erosion and profit shifting. BEPS, base erosion and profit shifting. Base erosion and profit shifting. This concept was given by OECD. BEPS to avoid tax evasion. BEPS to avoid tax evasion. FATF. For anti-corruption and money laundering practices. For anti-corruption and money laundering practices. Okay. Global minimum corporate tax. Global minimum corporate tax. 30% slab we are talking about. Global minimum corporate tax. These things will be discussed in fair economy. You can also add one more point. Double tax avoidance agreement. DTAA. Double tax avoidance agreement. Okay. Double tax avoidance agreement. So these are the pillars of it, 4 pillars that we have discussed. Now the question is that why India did not join trade policy? And now understand one more thing. These are the things that you are going to study for prelims. Okay, FATF as an institution when it was formed. Okay, 1987. Then global minimum corporate tax, what it is, and how this idea came, why we are discussing it. The application of these concepts is there in the mains. Now let's come to the point, write down why India did not join, why India opted out of trade pillar. First point, possibility of binding conditionalities. First point is possibility of binding conditionalities. Related to linking environment and labor. Environment and labor. All of you understand that right now. Let's understand it very practically. Let's empathize it also. You can use this point into your ethics paper also. See, this is the level of awareness I want from you. Current affair is such a subject that I don't belong to a particular subject. Okay. While reading a news from the current affairs, what happens that most of the time we are making notes for ethics separately. There we are taking some information from Gandhi ji, Tagore, Nehru. Our perspective is entirely different while reading ethics. We cannot talk about Indo-Pacific economic framework over there. We read Indo-Pacific economic framework only and entirely for international relations. This is wrong. This is why integrated current affairs will help you, integrate. For example, here in the environment, you have to empathize and understand that today, if you go and see different kinds of vendors, they are using and burning coal. If we want to decarbonize totally right now, we won't allow them to burn coal. Everyone should be using LPG cylinders. But can India afford it right now? Everyone can afford it right now? No. Therefore, we cannot go for binding conditionalities seeking our national interest. Therefore, second point should be national interest. In the labor laws also, we know recently only we codified our labor codes. Okay, we codified the labor codes recently. Otherwise, every state was having different labor laws. We cannot follow the standards of minimum wage what USA is having. If they will ask us. Therefore, we did not join because of these possibility of these binding conditionalities. National interest, understand that Atmanirbhar Bharat, the doctrine is about indirectly putting India first. We will focus on everything. We will focus on economic efficiency. We will focus on trade. We will focus on competitiveness. I don't know what has happened. But keeping India's interest first. Third point, you write. Digital trade, data trade, digital trade, data trade, dash digital framework and laws, specially regarding digital framework and laws, specially regarding privacy of data. Fourth point, just give the heading developing country. As India is a developing country. India is a developing country. Therefore, we cannot basically follow the standards of the developed countries. Therefore, we opted out of it. Now, as a quotation, you write that if the question is directly on this, you can say that US trade representative US trade representative Catherine Tai, Catherine Tai, US trade representative Catherine Tai said after conclusion of ministerial talks, conclusion of ministerial talks, in the columns you write, in the columns, semicolons, I won't say, in the columns you write right now, I won't say, she said, I won't say India has opted out of trade pillar. Full stop. We are continuing. I will say, full stop, I will say they are not in right now. Understood the meaning of it? That because we are negotiating already. It is not that India has opted out means opted out, just like RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. We opted out of RCEP. This is second chance for India to have a good relation with ASEAN. Now write down the significance. First is alternative to China-led model. Now you understand why it is an alternative. First point is alternative to China-led model. Second point, based on Cornwall consensus. Based on Cornwall consensus. It is a shift, third point, it is a shift from it is a shift from reactive to preventive policy. Reactive to preventive policy. Represents, next point is represents 40% of GDP represents 40% of GDP with that. Now let's talk about certain positive implications for India. What are the implications for India? With powerhouse. With powerhouse. There are a few more things that will be mentioned in your handouts like multi-stakeholder and all. Okay. Now positive implications for India. First point is geopolitical and geo-economic importance. Right. Second, opportunity to engage with ASEAN nations. One more thing I want to make you understand is, I'll speak a little bit slowly, that mostly today's problem with India in the global geopolitics is that we are basically reactive in our approach. Reactive in what sense? See, RCEP was being signed. India said that, no, I will not join it. Now, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework is there. India said that I will only sign 3 pillars and I will leave 1 pillar. It means that already policy is coming towards you and you are choosing, you are reacting out of it, whether I will take it or partially take it. India is not proactively leading right now. You are getting the point. India is not forming any grouping. Therefore, when we will study about G20, we will find that here the leadership of India is quite important. Any group that is being led by India, we do not find that right now. So whenever anything related to space will happen, now India is already into that elite club of 4 countries. So as a criticism, you will always understand that India has been reactive in its approach, not proactive in its approach. US has been proactive in its approach by devising a policy to contain China in the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework in that form. Okay. Second point into the implications for India. countering China, countering China by alternate trade channel. And one positive implication is for the whole world that it can prevent weaponization of global supply chain. Intergovernmental cooperation to prevent tax evasion. Challenges or criticisms. Challenges, you understand. It is a Trojan horse of USA. One challenge is that, as I told you, Troy movie, you have seen Troy. Troy movie. Millennials are not watching movies. Hollywood. Busy in Instagram. Trojan horse, you would have understood that, that into the pen drives or into the internet, Trojan virus, a kind of virus is there. है ना? हाँ. Therefore, this is called as a Trojan horse of USA Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. India should look towards its own interest. That is it benefiting me, or just to counter on the name of China, I'm joining USA. Okay. So one challenge is this. Second challenge is, see, these are the some, see, in while writing mains, language, if you will use lot of language, you will fill up the page, but you will not give that much of content. You should have those keywords to write. Second point is decoupling with China. Are we joking around here that okay, we will leave China behind and the world will become powerhouse? It is already a powerhouse, China. Decoupling with China is extremely tough right now. As a policy measure only, we are moving ahead over there. Third is climate commitments. Climate commitments. When India will become a developed nation? 20? By 2047, we are thinking that we will become developed nation. Then only we can get into the zone of we are also decarbonizing our economy, and on that front you will be giving us money. But till then we are talking about CBDR, the issue that we have discussed. Climate commitments is challenge, that from where will we get fund, and then we will follow. When India is thinking about net zero carbon emission, 2047. This thing is called as climate commitments. Basically what European countries are doing right now, it is being called as climate colonialism. In bracket you can write that climate colonialism. Fourth issue is about data localization. data localization, data sovereignty, take one more concept about data. You write 4 Ds of data, right? 4 Ds of data. 4 Ds of data. Sorry, 4 Vs. 4 Vs of data. First one is first one is volume of data. India, why India is thinking so much about data? First of all, internet is very cheap. Then now internet has reached every nook and corner. Moreover, because it is cheap, everybody can afford it. Therefore, all the Indians are generating good volume of data. First V is volume of data. Second V is velocity of data. With high velocity, data is being generated. Third V is variety of data. With different age groups, we have a good demographic dividend. We are generating a variety of data. Fourth V is veracity of data. Veracity means accuracy. Therefore, India has always been on the lines of data localization. Previously, there was a policy by RBI that was called as data diktat. That all the players, for example, whether it be Meta, Facebook, or it be Amazon, they need to store the data within the territories of India only. In 2019, Osaka Track Declaration was there under the aegis of G20 that India did not sign. Why India did not sign? Because it talked about free flow of data across the territories. Therefore, India is focusing on our data sovereignty, data localization. I always say data is the new oil and privacy has gone to purchase it. Data is the new oil. Therefore, this new oil, for example, you understand, Saudi Arabia countries became a lot of riches they got by selling oil. So right now the time is for India to make this data a cash cow. But how do we make this? How did they made oil their cash cow? By cartelization. By cartelization, they have formed a cartel called as OPEC. OPEC is not an organization, it's a cartel. They increase the price, they decrease the supply, they control it just to increase the price rates of the crude oil in the market. How the oil is being, sold. Crude oil is collected, then refined, then price is decided, and based on that, it is being sold. What we are doing with the data over here is we all are generating the crude data. That data is refined by the different, companies, Facebook, Meta, Amazon. They are refining the data and selling it in the form of leads. For example, to an insurance company who are going to the hospitals for the regular checkup. Those people are prone to buy the insurance. Who are looking up for the current affairs classes. And they will show you the advertisements of then coaching classes itself. This is how the data are being sold. You are giving your consent for the cookies, accept all the cookies. This is what they are getting from it. Therefore, data is the new oil. Right now, India do not want that, but understand where is the cartel of this data. OPEC countries were the cartel for the oil, crude oil. Who forms the cartel for this data? Write down the name of that cartel. It is called as Ma cartel. Yes. M for Microsoft. A for Alphabet. Alphabet Inc., the parent company of the Google. Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon. And Apple. But what India wants that our data should not be in the hands of this cartel, but should be governed by Indian governments. It should be controlled and it should be stored within our own territory. Therefore, these had been the challenges. Let's write way forward. Way forward. First point is Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-sufficiency. Basically here, you can explain it later on whenever you want that our focus is on national interest basically. By the Atmanirbhar Bharat self-sufficiency, if I say, for example, into the space, what was the crux of that policy? Indian Space Policy 2020. The crux is right now we want to give way to the private sector for end-to-end operations, from launching the rocket and satellite to the space and operating from the earth itself. Right now, our private sector into the space sector, what they are doing right now, they are working as vendors and manufacturers of small parts only. Getting the point? Now we want to give them that entry into the space sector, because already the private sector into the space has revolutionized into the SpaceX, Blue Origin. These projects were there. Similarly, in here, we want that self-sufficiency, self-interest should be promoted. Atmanirbhar Bharat. Then second point is China plus one strategy. China plus one strategy. Now manufacturing units of Apple, various manufacturing units, global manufacturing units are shifting from China plus one country, where in that country also the products will be manufactured. Then way forward is about establishing common standards for climate change mitigation. Establishing common standards for climate change mitigations. Fourth is data sovereignty. Fourth is data sovereignty. Now write down a question, and I expect that I'll give you 10 minutes to write its answer also. Everyone understood this topic? Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. Question is IPEF, write down the question. IPEF seeks to achieve deeper integration of United States with regional economies. United States with regional economies, while reducing Chinese economic influence. While reducing Chinese economic influence. Full stop. Discuss significance and challenges of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. Discuss significances and challenges of IPEF or Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for India in present scenario. Okay, give some space for it. Okay. See, how we'll be covering up the class. One topic I'll be taking up for the mains exhaustively, because you get the points that how it should be written, how it should be taken, that it will be divided throughout the structure, how you're going to approach in the mains. The handouts will help you understand the topic keywords better. Okay. Now these are the topics for the prelims. Into the prelims, what will be approach? that I know that we had been following so many sources. Objective is very clear from Shunya, that my focus is don't leave any information. First of all, it is a competition, game of competition, as simple as that. Depth of knowledge will be checked in the mains. In the prelims, no information should be left out. Maybe UPSC can ask a question beyond that also. I'm not saying that UPSC will restrict to that information only. Into this competition, whatever your competitor is doing, that you should get your hands on plus something extra. So into the prelims, the magazine of Shunya monthly current affairs is there with plus some things are written. Becomes difficult to understand for some time, but we don't leave any information. From that, the news items will be there. I'll be discussing the topics which are extremely important. By the end of the month, what I'll do, I'll bring up the magazine over here itself for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I will steer through the information, that what is important, what is not important, and how much you can actually remember that. Objective is that why we are not leaving any news item, even if it is not worthy to come into the examination, is you should not be held back of any competitive edge. At least it should be in front of you, and that magazine should be one-stop solution. Otherwise, what will be the problem if I'm just giving you the important information into the magazine? Then you will look into other things, and you'll find that some other information is given. Then you have to merge different sources. Okay, let's start. Coral reefs. The coral reefs and seaweeds, there are two topics into it. Coral reefs are very important, we all understand. Which part of India has highest amount of coral reefs? Anyone? Okay, there's a tussle between Andaman and Lakshadweep. How many of you are saying maximum in Andaman? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3. Maximum in Lakshadweep. Now write down, the highest amount of coral reefs is in Andaman and Nicobar. Whereas the coral reef island of India is Lakshadweep. Coral reef island of India is Lakshadweep. Corals are mainly found in, write down, corals are mainly found in Andaman and Lakshadweep. We have covered Gulf of Mannar, Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Mannar, Gulf of Kutch, Palk Strait, okay. Now understand why it was in the news. Why coral reefs were in the news. They live in a symbiotic relationship, zooxanthellae. This thing in the static portion of the environment you will read. I'm not taking you through that. Okay. Because of climate change, they are very good bioindicators also. Okay. Because what happens? They change their color. Corals change their color. Therefore, they are very good bioindicators of climate change. Increasing of carbon dioxide into the ocean leads to the acidification of ocean. It leads to the acidification of the ocean. Now, it was in the news because the dead coral reefs were observed near Karusadi, Tamil Nadu. Karusadi, Tamil Nadu. Okay, now important point is, I have talked about Gulf of Mannar, where it is being found. Into the Gulf of Mannar, we have Gulf of Mannar Marine National Park. Simple questions can be asked to you. Gulf of Mannar Marine National Park, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, students get confused sometimes. Okay, some people might mark it Karnataka also. Now, About the corals, they are very good, and write few words only. You will get these PPTs, no need to worry about it. They are very good bioindicators. These things are anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, contributing to economic growth through issue of manufacturing, acting as bioindicators. These things are there. Now let's come to the seaweeds. UPSC's focus is so much on seaweeds. Why we are talking? In the news, you don't find seaweeds regularly, but UPSC asks very regularly about this question. Which animal is called as sea cow? Dugong, very good. It is basically a herbivorous animal which feeds on sea grass, seaweeds. Okay. Now seaweeds are focused. Anybody can tell me why UPSC's focus is on seaweeds? Why could be UPSC's focus on seaweeds? I want to develop that curiosity and nudge that understanding that what kind of questions can be asked. You're getting my point? It's not that I tell you the facts, you write down and then you try to mug up. Why UPSC is focusing on seaweeds? What? Because national park has been made for it. Okay. Medicinal properties. Anything else? Nutritional source. Anything else? Everything is right. Carbon absorbs carbon dioxide. Okay. Anything else? Just give it a push, little bit push. There are few major events, there are few major things because of that UPSC is asking question from something. One reality of the present time is climate change. Because of climate change, sea level is going to rise. Now the territorial boundaries will submerge into the sea. Therefore, we find very important certain crops which can grow in the ocean, which are salt resistant also, and which can be used as food supplements. Tomorrow's food security is dependent on those crops which can be grown in the oceans. This is what UPSC's focus is on. Therefore, FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, has accorded GIHAs to the Kutnad, underwater agricultural farming in Kerala. You're getting my point? How to understand where the focus should be. Because under ocean, you can see the cultivation over here also. But write down marine species of algae and plants. This is algae and plants grow in water bodies such as rivers, seas, and oceans. Simply its name is seaweed. Okay, getting the point. Understand what mistakes you are going to commit. Simple mistakes in the prelims examination. The statement will be like this. Write down that information. I'm telling you what statement UPSC will be asking, and you don't need to confuse. This is called developing the knack of solving the prelims paper. From here on, you have to develop it. UPSC will give you seaweeds are species of marine algae and plants. Okay, and after that, they will write that they grow only in salty waters or oceans. Right now you are saying okay, but in the examination its name is seaweed. In the name only sea is there. Okay, they are marine. Then you will get confused in the fresh water or in marine water. Okay, but understand this fact is important into the prelims examination. They grow in water bodies such as rivers, fresh water as well as marine waters, seas and oceans. Very simple fact, but just once you have to highlight it in your mind. Oh, this is fine. They vary in size, microscopic and all. Okay. It is found on the shores across the world, but it is more commonly a staple in Asian countries. It's okay. Now see how this, how they are, the cultivation process. These are the beds on which it is being grown. These are the beds on which seaweeds are being grown. They are high in demand. Right now, to some extent, India is importing certain seaweeds also. They are very high in nutrition also. Therefore, another name of seaweed, the local name of seaweed. UPSC asked one question into the prelims 2015 or 2016. How they ask? Water harvesting techniques. Arivalluar, something words were there. They said, what is it? It is often seen in news. This water harvesting method. Similarly, they might not ask directly seaweed. They will ask about this word. So, Kappa ficus. Write down this word Kappa ficus. Kappa ficus. It is basically a seaweed. They will say that Kappa ficus, it is a medicinal plant It is a mosquito tolerant plant. Okay, you will get confused. It is a seaweed. Kappa ficus is a seaweed. They have asked about elephant grass. Now, more than 750 farmers are growing seaweed farming primarily Kappa ficus. This variety is grown as a seaweed in India, in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, we are focusing on seaweed culture, and here into this Gulf of Mannar Marine National Park nearby. And here only Tamil Nadu's proposed seaweed park. In which state seaweed park is being proposed? Tamil Nadu. We can remember that much. No confusion should be there. Rest things are normal. You can just understand nothing much. Basically, what is happening that India is importing this. India's import of, you see this root word kappa. Kappa remains the same. Kappa carrageenan. Kappa carrageenan is the variety of seaweed that we are importing. If we started to, cultivate Kappa ficus, then what will happen? Our exchequer's deficit will be reduced. Import deficit will be reduced. Move ahead. Let's solve this question. Raise your hands. Don't tell me the answer. Raise your hands. Whoever has solved this question. Anyone from the backside? Hmm. Understand, you're solving this question. This is the first question these people are solving. But point is that now, don't expect that you are studying a fact over here and that fact will be exactly replicated in the examination. Let me explain a little bit more about the UPSC prelims examination. Students find and obviously say that, sir, whatever I have studied from there, many questions have not come. I am saying you very precariously that this is not the way UPSC is asking the question. The question paper is not designed by that manner. Simple reason is that. There is a simple reason to it. For example, you are not preparing for state exams. Into the state examinations, you read about, there is a magazine called as Ghatna Chakra. You just cram that one, you will find exact questions replicated in your paper. Or you go and ask, sit for bank PO examination, you will get those kind of questions. Intentionally, UPSC is making it unpredictable, more and more unpredictable. Reason being, your gut feeling, your intuition, your knack is being reflected over there. Your decision making capabilities is being reflected over there. Some students say that it becomes a waste of talent for studying so much if direct questions are not coming. Understand what for example, what's a good name? Huh? For example, Himanshu becomes tomorrow superintendent of police in a district. What is your age right now? 25. For example, this year he is being selected. Seems a very good candidate. Okay, he is being selected. After 1.5 years of training, 26.5 years, he is posted as a superintendent of police into a district. Tomorrow he gets to understand that a mob violence is happening. Big mob violence, a communal clash is there. He has just studied the books, okay, attended certain classes, and that too training into NPA. Training has been done in NPA. Now he doesn't understand how to tackle a mob violence on the ground. Therefore, what will happen to him? What he will do? In that situation, everything cannot be taught to you. In the training, nobody will be telling you mob violence. Hundreds of cases are there. There you have to take a decision based on the choices. For example, your subordinate staff, you will use his experience also. You will ask your sub-inspector, what do you think we can do? You will ask your senior also. So this is the situation, what we should do. But all the action depends on your own guesswork, your own elimination technique, that I should follow this option or that option based on the preparation that you have done in your training period. UPSC wants to check that how you are able to exercise that discretionary power within you. You are getting my point? Whatever everyone is preparing, but using the discretion, using the knack, using the ability to eliminate and choose what option you are choosing into the examination hall. That ability is being tested. Knowledge test is not there. It's an aptitude test for civil services. You got my point? So what happens that while solving this paper, not just take the knowledge. Objective is not just knowledge. Knowledge plus knack. What are the methods to think? How you should be thinking? What is the line of thinking, ideal line of thinking to eliminate or get to the correct answers? That should be the objective. Now I hope many of you would have solved it. What's the answer? A. Okay. D. Anybody else? D. D. A. D. D. Correct answer is D basically. Most of the world's coral reefs are in tropical waters. Most of them are in tropical waters. In temperate also they are there. It is not that in temperate they are not there. In temperate waters also coral reefs are found, but most of them are in Great Barrier Reef, we all understand, nearby Australia. More than 1/3 of the world's coral reefs are located in the territories of Australia, Indonesia and Philippines. That is also true. This was a tough question when it came in the examination. Okay. Prima facie, we feel that third statement is an extreme statement. It might be wrong. Coral reefs host far more number of animal phyla than those hosted by tropical rainforest. Understand that. Number of animal phyla is more in terms of in the coral reefs. That is a true statement. Basically, in the whole territorial arrangements, when we understand, then tropical rainforest have the maximum amount of biodiversity. But we include, if we include ocean also, then corals. Corals. The statement is correct. GPT-4, Chat GPT. On artificial intelligence, let's solve the question first, then we will talk about this GPT. What should be the answer of this question? This was asked by UPSC in 2020. Understand that these topics are extremely important. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, okay, bitcoins, metaverse, extended reality, virtual reality. These topics are important for UPSC. Hmm? D. Okay, one option came D. Hmm? Who is telling? D. Okay. Hmm? D. 1, 3 and 4. Okay. Hmm? C. C is about, you have eliminated one. Okay. Give me a right and wrong answer. Doesn't matter. Hmm? B. Achha, let's understand this question. Let's solve this question first. Artificial intelligence. In depth, we don't need to study this topic. We have to understand how artificial intelligence works. We are all are using smart watches are out there. Artificial intelligence can effectively do which of the following? Understand, in your question, everything is very important. You cannot eliminate this word effectively. This is important. Otherwise, they could have framed that artificial intelligence can do which of the following. It can do which of the following. They have inserted this word deliberately. bring down electricity consumption in industrial units. Of course, they can bring down electricity consumption. That's why we are putting them. Okay. Cos phi is there into the industrial, those who are belonging to that. Okay, they will reduce that value. It means that, for example, the smart thing should we can fix into AC also, air conditioners. After 2 hours, it will shut down automatically. It's also part of artificial intelligence. That will save the electricity. Create meaningful short stories and songs. Hmm? Right now, Chat GPT is creating. The whole content creation has changed the arena for things. Chat GPT is creating everything. So tomorrow, anime movies will be by the Chat GPT itself. The thing paid version is doing everything. But this question came in 2020 during COVID times. That time, Chat GPT was not there. Disease diagnosis, we are using artificial intelligence. Text to speech conversion, we are doing. See what kind of options UPSC is giving. Wireless transmission of electrical energy. It's not signal, electrical signal. It's electrical energy. You know, in one option, UPSC has given into a question that transport, teleporting of human being from one place to another. It is not possible. Sometimes UPSC is playing with you also. Wireless transmission of electrical energy cannot happen. Huh? नहीं IoT, see, IoT they are connected to the internet. Through Wi-Fi, you are connecting with the internet. But understand, signals are being transferred, not energy. Where here I am saying that electrical signals can be transmitted. Of course, from the Bluetooth, data can be transferred. Its signal is being transferred. Energy is not being transferred from one place to another place. Okay, wireless transmission of electrical energy. So what has happened that in such questions, how you should be solving it? If you are going to study all the 4 or 5 options and then eliminating each one very precisely, then only you can read 50 to 55 questions in the whole paper. There will always be a trade-off between accuracy and solving the number of questions. So what you should be doing, you should be picking up certain things like create meaningful short stories and songs. It can do. I do believe in 2020 also artificial intelligence could do, but it could not do it effectively. The point was it could not do it effectively. Therefore, UPSC, various coaching institutions gave different answers. It was a disputed question that time. It was a disputed question, but later on UPSC came up with B. UPSC's answer is B. Okay, that yes, it could do these things, but it cannot create meaningful short stories and songs. In that case, what happens that, see, either you pick up 5 or you pick up 2 and you eliminate it. By that only you will come to the right answer. We don't need to justify each and every point over there. Pick up one thing and then eliminate. Now let's come to the topic of Chat GPT. Okay, OpenAI has recently launched this Chat GPT Plus subscription. Till 2021, the data is there in the this Chat GPT, but in the subscribed format, you will have the recent data also. GPT-4. Basically, understand that how does the Chat GPT know so much more than the Google? It can give you tailored information. What is it? How it is working? UPSC will ask you questions from that. Do you understand the foundational principles of Chat GPT, artificial intelligence, machine learning or not? Basically, we want to mimic the human understanding into electronic format. How do we mimic that till now? Like we have read about Web 1.0 where read-only information was there. Web 2.0, read and write information was there. Now in the era of Web 3.0, read, write and execute. We can execute that information also. Here what is happening that into this machine learning, understand simple things. What nuance difference is there? For example, if I say anything to the Google, they will understand, interpret its meaning. but how human being understand its meaning. For example, uh, if there is a fight between girlfriend and boyfriend, and then boyfriend has suddenly appeared, and the girl will say, "तुम आ गए," in such an anger mood. "तुम आ गए, तुम फिर से आ गए." And if the things are going very romantic, then she'll say, "तुम आ गए." Words are same. Words are same, but there is nuanced differences between both of them. This is what we are expecting from this level of artificial intelligence. This is truly machine learning, true machine learning, and that we are achieving through neural networks. You are understanding the point? Mimicking human being means mimicking the emotions of human beings as well. Why I have been explaining you in that depth? Because tomorrow, if this question comes, then it will mimic the emotion as well. UPSC will write that statement into the question paper. That you have to understand. There you have to understand this is where artificial intelligence is leading us. For that, what we are doing, basically, we are using Google in its project called as Lambda. Into that project, what it has done, it has understood the amino acids. We will take that topic also sometime, amino acids, and find out the neural networks, how the connections are being made. Similarly, the different chatbots are being made, robots are being made, and like emotions are being put to the understanding so that they can analyze the emotion also. Just like Iron Man movie, the conversation is there. Your energy is less, you are in an anger mood, now you should be doing that. Therefore, tomorrow, what will happen? Right now, you are talking to Siri. Siri is not understanding your emotion. Siri is just understanding that what questions factually you have asked. Factual replies are there. Advanced creativity, visual comprehension and context, generative pre-trained transformer. So what kind of information? Just understand these keywords if you have understood the concepts. Okay. Now, processes the ability to collaborate with users on various creative projects. That creativity right now GPT is giving. What in the Google you cannot find those answers precisely. Like if you want to search for a topic for example, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework or anything, then what will happen? You will Google different documents are there. You have to choose, pick up from the research papers, what information I have. But you can tell to the chat GPT in which format you want to have, including music, screenplays, technical writing, whatnot. Everything. Now chat GPT is capable of doing so many of things. Also accepts images as inputs. Now what happens that there is a new subject into engineering. After 5 years, you will find that the emerging branch of engineering is prompt engineering. Prompt engineering. Chat GPT, you write certain prompts. Now, how to basically understand what was C, C++, Java or Python? They are the languages of computer, okay? Back end, front end languages. Now, with that, we were making certain applications, apps, user interface. Now, what we are going to do is, we are giving prompt engineering. Now, into this engineering, how to write a prompt? Anybody of you have used chat GPT? How many lines of prompt you have written? Huh? Multiple lines you have written. In you have written a paragraph as a prompt, or you have chat. Both paragraph. Understand that 3 pages of prompt are being given to the chat GPT. 3 to 4 pages. Such big prompt. In what fashion do you want? So right now, it is being developed as a way of communicating how the artificial intelligence will process my information, my question being asked, and will reply to me. So this subject is emerging as prompt engineering, how to write the prompt. Certain ads are there on the YouTube for that matter, that how to write the prompt, how to effectively use the chat GPT or artificial intelligence. So UPSC asks questions related to your awareness. What is happening right now out there into this field? Right now, GPT-4 versions are evolving. How the versions are evolving, basically understand here again the game of data that is being played. From where, just tell me from where chat GPT is getting that much of information that it is giving us. Somebody is feeding that information to chat GPT. Basically, we are giving that information. We are feeding. GPT-1 was made public. Why? Because you people are asking questions, you people are providing the data free of cost. They will understand people are interested in what kind of information related to fashion, related to sports, related to music, creativity. You're getting my point. You are providing information. For example, you asked a question, somebody was giving reply towards it. GPT is collecting and interlinking all that webs and basically evolving itself one step further. Therefore, its evolution led to the GPT-4. Tomorrow it will be more evolved. Okay. Large language models, because I'm just giving you these words, don't ignore them, because UPSC will be putting it to the test. Now Google Translator is already there, but GPT, you can use different languages also to ask the question. It will understand the prompts. Right now in 26 languages, and its accuracy is extremely good, because here you can compare that. For English, the accuracy is 85.5%, and for Telugu it is 71.4%. When try to understand one more thing about awareness, I said there, now here into the society. Society is a part of your GS1, Indian society, where we talk about the diversity of the society, inclusiveness of the society. Always you will find in these days, from the 1 week, you will always find one article, artificial intelligence related into the newspaper. You would be finding. Okay, every day one article is there. Now this artificial intelligence is making this language diversity more feasible. More languages you can find the answers, vernacular languages. The accuracy is extremely good. Whereas in India, there is north-south divide. In India, we have north-south divide. You go to the down south, Chennai, you will find that difficult to communicate. But for this language, it has eased the way. In the artificial intelligence, while writing essay also, you can use that point. You can code that data over there. Into the society, you can use that data. Okay. Basically about the applications, you'll get the PPT, no need to write down, just understand here. Customer service, personal assistant, educational tool, research, creative writing, language translation, and many more. Now, if question is related to Chat GPT, yes, it can create meaningful short stories. It can create, don't eliminate in the examination. In 2020, they have written effectively, it cannot do, it can do very effectively. Just you have to put the right prompt over there. Now, large capacity, more than 1 million users are already over there. And yes, the response time of the Chat GPT is typically less than 1 second. This is the best part of it. The machine that is progressing computational capacity has increased. Some facts which are important for us, the computational speed is less than 1 second also. We'll be soon getting that Chat GPT 5, Chat GPT 6 also. Net neutrality. Write the definition of net neutrality. all the internet traffic should be treated equally. All the internet traffic should be treated equally without discrimination, or preference given to any service or application. The service or application, here it is written actually. Written, everyone written. Now net neutrality, here what has happened, that recently it is in the news because Cellular Operators Association, COI, where these big players are there, Reliance Jio, Vodafone, Idea, they had been demanding that platforms such as YouTube and WhatsApp, we are consuming mostly from YouTube, or all of us are using WhatsApp these days. They should pay a share of revenue to make up for the neutral cost. Now, neutrality means what? Telcos are there. Telecommunication service providers. Telecom, whether you are using internet through, Geo fiber, or Airtel, Bharti Airtel. You understand how this communication network works basically. Government of India through the ISRO sends different kinds of satellites up in the space. Now that satellite has certain transponders. Okay, C band. Okay, C band transponders are there. Now they have certain bandwidth that can be utilized. There is auctioning of that bandwidth. Right? Like 5G satellite we have sent. Auctioning happened. Some bandwidth was kept by the government for the military uses, strategic purposes. Some was auctioned. Their bidding happens. Geo will say that I will give you that much price. Give me the space of that transmission bandwidth into from that transponder. Government earns a lot of revenue from there. Now, for example, Airtel got a particular bandwidth. Now Airtel, through its network of towers on the earth, will be providing you internet facilities that are being channelized from that satellite up in the sky sent by ISRO. Okay. Therefore, it will be deciding its tariff rates, how what is remunerative for you. But neutrality says that because understand what is most powerful and potent tool. It is called distribution network. Distribution network. For example, most of you are using Geo. Geo has a very big, very wide distribution network right now. Now Geo can promote anything on its channel. Now you must be consuming that. You have to consume that. But that will go against the principle of net neutrality. You are getting the point. Therefore, these telcos are saying that WhatsApp or YouTube, these platforms are consuming most of our networks. If they do not pay us, if they are not paying any share of their revenue to us, then what we will do? We will start taking money from small players and start promoting them. We'll start promoting them instead of YouTube or WhatsApp. For example, Google. One substitute for Google is GoDaddy. Have you ever used it? It is better than Google, actually. Okay. So, therefore, they should be paying certain revenue to the telecom service providers. This was basically context of the news. Here, simple question will be there from the UPSC that they will ask you, what do you mean by net neutrality? Okay. Now, net neutrality, internet service providers, if they are manipulating the information with respect to you, they can manipulate any kind of, I have talked about the data, variety of data, volume of data. They can manipulate the menu. Understand that this is called as paradox of choice. Paradox of choice. It means that you feel that I am choosing. Do you understand? If you search anything on the Google, if you search anything on the Google, you feel that I am choosing the information from the Google. The different options will be there. You can click on anything, but on the first page of Google will decide that I'll be putting these promoted tabs. On the second or third page, I will be putting non-promoted tabs. Basically, you are not choosing. This is called paradox of choice. If your food menu is being manipulated, the food that you are ordering is not your choice per se. You feel that you have been ordering from the menu which has been provided to you, but you had been manipulated already. Now you get the point. Okay. So therefore, this concept of net neutrality, this is its importance. Here you can see about stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders into it? Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Now, see certain things for the prelims. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India is what kind of body? Constitutional body, statutory body, non-statutory body? Very good. It is a statutory body. Write down in the brackets. TRAI, statutory body. It was formed under Telecom Regulatory Authority of India Act 1997. TRAI Act 1997. Government is of course the stakeholder. These two stakeholders are extremely important. OTT, over the top service providers, and telecom service providers, TSPs. Telecom service providers and over the top service providers, for example, Netflix. If YouTube starts paying them, next time they will be asking Netflix, you also pay something to me because you are using my internet. Otherwise, I will not promote Netflix. This is called as digital governance. Tomorrow we will take up that topic also, digital governance. But in that perspective, you will understand. Right now, you just take up the news of net neutrality. Telecom service providers, because their source of revenue, Vodafone case was there, retrospective taxation was there. Okay, so these issues, this is not remunerative for them right now. Understand what will happen actually. Now you are seeing that why they should be paying right now. Hai na? You are feeling like that, why they should be paying from their revenue. What will happen? It will distort the market. Airtel is not generating any revenue because most of the people are using Jio. Now, Jio will capture a monopoly because Airtel could not generate a lot of revenue from YouTube or other sources. Then Airtel will be finished tomorrow. Already Jio is having a lot of monopoly. Now, if Jio is having that monopoly, Jio can promote anything. Net neutrality is no more. To establish the net neutrality, they want that certain revenue should be paid to us. Why net neutrality must be protected? See, these are the perspectives I have brought to you, because from here questions are being formed. Application of chat GPT, AI, they are asking why it should be promoted. It won't cost websites or people extra money just to be able to go to a certain web location. It will be very effective. Now, right now, what's happening? If YouTube starts giving them money, this is fine. If YouTube is not giving any money, then what will happen? They start taking money from other sources. Then to get to the right thing on the YouTube, you have to scroll a lot, or you have to have a premium membership. Then it will become costly for you. You have to pay for the net neutrality tomorrow, you know. Without net neutrality, internet service providers can discriminate against any website or group of person tomorrow. In India, such a diverse country we are, that particular kind of information will be shown to only Hindus. Particular kind of information should be shown only to the Christians. It will tamper with our society. Net neutrality allows small businesses to have digital presence and let them compete without worrying it if they're internet service provider. If they are providing good services, then it is fine. For example, Shark Tank India, you can see, if it is going to be biased, anyone can go and represent their business over there. Okay, intermediary after net neutrality rules were placed, investments in the companies went up by 5%. After the net neutrality is there, then the 5% investment is more into the companies over there. Keeps the internet equal, fair, and for everybody. Therefore, that, you know, parity, transparency into the working of different companies, okay, digital governance, fair and transparent manner, it will be conducted. Therefore, we want net neutrality. Write down this word, erythritol. Bring up some energy. Don't feel sleepy. Erythritol per se, you will find that doesn't seem much important. Erythritol, I don't think many of you would have heard about it also. Hai UPSC has a keen sense of asking the name of certain chemicals which are in the news. They might be pesticides, okay? They might be preservatives, or they might be used in cosmetic industries. Erythritol, aspartame, you have, you know, anybody heard aspartame? Aspartame. These are basically artificial sweeteners. You know, yellow color box you would have seen, sugar free. These are the chemicals used to substitute sugar. Right now in India, into the health sector, if you are talking into the health sector, understand that what is happening, people are getting obese right now. Therefore, you all know that sugar consumption, we need to reduce the sugar consumption. Sugar for reducing sugar consumption, but for the taste buds, we want that sugar, taste of sweetness should be there. Therefore, artificial sweeteners are being used. A recent study has found that erythritol, which is used as an artificial sweetener, which is zero in calories, zero in calories, but it can cause heart attacks, heart strokes. Therefore, it should not be used in large quantities. Simple question will be there. Erythritol is being used as substitute for sugar. It has 0 calories. Even it has 0 sodium also. Is a type of sugar alcohol commonly used as sugar substitute in foods and beverages. Zero Coke is there, I think. Taste is little bit different for the Zero Coke. These things are used. Erythritol and aspartame are used. Unlike traditional sugars, it has no calories. Remember, the statement might seem extreme to you in the examination. 0 calories? Is it right? People will find, sir, 0 nahi, thoda to hoga. Little bit of calorie will be there. But it has 0 calories and does not raise blood sugar levels. How blood sugar level is measured? It is by glycemic index. They can ask you about glycemic index as well. Everyone should know right now what is glycemic index. We are promoting millets. 2023 is the International Year of Millets. And millets does not have any gluten in them. Therefore, they are also very good substitute who people are having sugar problem. They have very low glycemic index. So glycemic index, what is happening into the glycemic index? Understand in simplicity, glycemic index is used to measure the sugar levels. Okay, whatever food you consume, whether it be roti or whether it be rice, whatever food you consume, it has certain calories. From these calories burning ATP, we get adenosine triphosphate, we get energy into our bodies. And how much sugar level increases is measured by glycemic index. The food which is having more sugar, glycemic index will be more. The less sugar, glycemic index will be less. Simple statement. If that understanding is there, for example, they will write that in the examination, UPSC, the trend is that they will give half information correct, half information wrong. What they will say that millets are very good for the health as they lack sugar and they have very high glycemic index. Correct or wrong? Correct or wrong? It is a wrong statement. They have low sugar and low glycemic index. Understanding it? So, glycemic index is a value used to measure how much specific foods increase the blood sugar level. Whether they increase or, they don't affect. Sugar-free products contain erythritol and often recommended for the people who have obesity or diabetes, looking for different options. Higher risk or adverse cardiovascular events. People with these conditions also are at the higher risk or cardiovascular events like heart attack or stroke. Now, point is that if you are eating sugar also, you are prone to the cardiovascular attack. If you are using erythritol or aspartame also, now you are prone to the attack. Therefore, no sugar, no aspartame, no erythritol is the right way. Understood? So both of them needs to be eliminated. Now, no Zero Coke also. Okay. Now understand one more important point into it. Zero sugar, I hope everyone would have understood right now why it is going to be there. Now in India, a new kind of problem. Like in your childhood days, like in my childhood days, if I would say, it is a Western problem. Like hypertension. In India, parents don't believe in hypertension, depression. They will just slap depression ho raha hai tumko. It was being touted as an elite disease. Only rich kids can be into depression. Okay. Or what they would say, either they would slap us or they will say, okay, go and play out there, you will be fine. Point is that right now, actually, depression is a problem. Mental health issues post-COVID. Now, even parents are recognizing it as a problem. For them, it got recognition. Now, hypertension or like blood pressure, basically sugar and blood pressure are not per se that big a problem, but they are home to lot many diseases. Because of hypertension, stress eating happens, midnight cravings happens. And even if you're not hungry, you find that I want to eat something. And because of that, the person gets obese. Then you become obese because your veins and arteries are of not that size that can pump that much blood. Therefore, you feel hypertension, ADHD. These kind of syndromes are there. Therefore, zero magnesium and 0 calories, 0 fat, 0 sodium, it is also important. NaCl. the people who are having high blood pressure, they are being said that please don't consume much of the salt, also reduce salt. So this was a very good option for them. It was per se a very good option. Zero sodium, only 4 gram carbs were there, fiber zero, protein zero, calories zero, zero fat. But it is prone to the heart attacks also, cardiovascular attacks also. Therefore, we need to eliminate it. Erythritol, everyone understood? If you'll find this word in the examination, at least you can recognize it. See, in the prelims, you don't need to write anything. It's a test of your recognition. You need your reflexes, that if you have understood it once, that concept, you can recollect it. Now, BIS hallmark. The standards are there. Certification. What happened? You are ready with the bag? Huh? Yeah? What happened? Mess. Wait for a while. Otherwise, I'll sponsor your food. Don't worry. Okay. So let's have it. BIS hallmarking. Now, UPSC also focuses on few things that is called as standardization and certification. Even the certification for forest is there right now. We'll take up that topic also someday. How do we should be giving certificates to the forest? What kinds of canopy density is over there? Now, right now, we are going to talk about BIS hallmark. Hallmark is for the gold. Certification for the gold. Right now, government has decided one institution is called as Quality Council of India. It is extremely important institution, Quality Council of India. It has prohibited the sale of hallmarked gold jewelry or gold artifacts without 6-digit alphanumeric HUID. 6-digit HUID should be there. Now you understand, Aadhaar number is being given to us. Even for the cows also, a number is being generated to understand their health. They are being tagged. Tagging of cows are being done. Certification and standardization has become a norm right now. Now, if you will just understand this concept, if you will put this HUID number on the Google, okay, on the website, then what will happen? You will understand the purity of the gold, when it was manufactured, so that you cannot be cheated by the manufacturer. This is the rationale. This is the objective behind it. And it has been launched only for gold and silver right now. No other metals, gold and silver. In India, we have, a lot of attraction towards gold. We have a lot of attraction towards gold. Sovereign gold bond has been there to take out the gold from our houses, and paper gold we were keeping. We will take up the holistic in the economy section basically. What is the scenario of gold as a commodity in India, exporting, importing, like with UAE. We have signed CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Participatory Agreement. Therefore, because of that, all of a sudden 42% export towards UAE has increased in a quarter itself. Why? Because duty-free access was given to us. Okay. One more important thing is, India is actually an importer of gold. Do you know? India is an importer of gold. But India is a very good exporter of gold jewelries. This is a paradox that we have to understand. Here our craftsmanship is very good. Now, which state has highest gold deposits? Kerala. Kolar Goldfield. Okay. Bihar. KGF movie you have seen? Based on the movies, please don't predict the answers. Rocky Bhai sometimes can be wrong. Okay, KGF Goldfield, you find that, okay? Rocky Bhai might be telling us the answer in the examination hall. Kolar Goldfields, we are taking lot of, we are mining lot of gold from them. But what happens that Bihar, Jamui district has the highest gold deposits right now. And recently only, it was also in the news last year itself, that Bihar government decided to uh, clear a framework from where the extraction of gold will be started over there. Okay, anything, but here HUID, remember that, okay, Bureau of Indian Standards, this year 2000, hallmarking scheme for jewelry was started. BIS gives these norms and ranking. HUID, you remember, because it is also helpful if you are exporting our jewelry. This transparency will help over there. BIS logo, purity of the article, and 6-digit alphanumeric code. These things will be mentioned over there. Achha, this question I don't think it will come, but understand that it is applicable only in, it has been implemented only in 288 districts. What happens that sometimes they might say it is applicable across the India. No, it is not applicable. Difficult to implement these things because we, in the rural areas, gold is being exchanged like that only. Working mechanism, verify HUID. It can be verified by the BIS Care app, where you can put the registration number, you can check the purity of the article and type of the article, as well as details of the hallmarking center. Simply this much you have to remember. Significance, BIS rules 2018. One question was there in 2016 or 2017, that star rating is given to these equipments, fans, ACs, है there was a question related to that. Therefore, standardization, whenever there is standardization and certification given to such things, it is important for us to study. Okay. Let's solve one more question. Which answer is correct? How many of you have seen the answer? Hmm? A. Okay. Why second statement is wrong? Raise your hand who wants to. Hmm. Yes. FSSAI. Okay. FAO is an international organization. It is not going to provide AgMark quality certification to India. Okay. Therefore, FSSAI, simply. The standard mark of Bureau of Indian Standards is mandatory for the automotive tires and tubes. Yes, it is a mandatory. The purpose of this question is to understand that yes, certification and standardization is important. Whenever such kind of things are in the news, then we must, remember them. Okay, just be a little bit more patient. Last topic for today. How's the Josh? मजा नहीं आया. How's the Josh? How's the Josh? Okay. Special zero coupon recapitalization bond. Now, few words are written into it. Special, then zero coupon. What is coupon? Hana? Good coupon or what? Recapitalization bond. Now, let's understand. In the beginning only I told you. Banking system is extremely important for India. Okay, banking system is extremely important for India. RBI basically gives domestically systematically important banks status to certain banks, in which SBI is there, HDFC is there. Okay, now when banks fail, there will be a situation that is called as doom's loop. Okay, bank run might happen over there. People will go to the bank and they will ask their money out of it. If banks fail, the whole economy will collapse. One or two bank might fail, that's not the problem. Like Punjab National Bank situation was there. But there is, we are not talking about PMC crisis happened, IL and FS crisis happened and into the NBFCs. Because of that, big problem did not happen. But there is a structural problem into our banking system that is called as high NPAs, non-performing assets. Now, what is the problem? Just understand this concept, because from which arena the question will be asked into it, you won't understand. Now, for these NPAs, few steps are being taken in different classes will be taking it differently. One thing is that to reduce these NPAs, what becomes an NPA? First of all, bank is giving some money as a loan. On that loan, they are earning interest. They are earning revenue out of that loan. Giving loan from the bank is an asset, not a liability. Keeping our money with the bank, it is their liability. You get the point? The question was asked by UPSC on that also. Now, if their asset is not functioning, then it becomes NPA after 90 days. Non-performing asset. Now, if these non-performing assets are so much so that they are not generating any revenue, then how they will be functioning, how they will be giving salary to their employees? Okay. Therefore, one method is that RBI gives PCA, prompt corrective action norms, to such banks. RBI understands their balance sheets, how much liabilities on them, how much loan they are having. One method is this. Another method is recapitalization of bank. Recapitalization of bank. Today we will understand this method of, saving our banks from structural issues. For example, just understand in the common sense, common layman's perspective. For example, like she has a lot of loan right now. Okay, she has a lot of loan right now, and she is not able to repay that loan from some friends, from cousins also. And every month she is under some tension, stress, that okay, how should I use my consumption expenditure and how should I be paying them? And she is taking up the call. Sometimes she is not receiving the call also, that they are asking for the money itself. What will happen if I say to you, okay, I'm giving you whatever your loan, whatever money you need, I'm giving you, but keep saving for 1 year. After 1 year, you return my money back. Or after 2 years, you return my money back. For example, you are under a loan of 1 lakh rupees. I have given you 1 lakh rupees, and every month you are saving something, and after 1 or 2 years, you give it back to me and you repay your loan. So that during the course of 1 year, you are being productive, you are doing well enough. This purpose, this thought process has been applied to the banks. Now, what government will do, here, he is the bank and I am the government. Now, government said that you have very much high NPAs, okay, in terms of 5,000 crore, 6,000 crore non-performing assets are there. Because of these NPAs, you are not earning money, revenue. Therefore, you issue me a bond that yes, I am going to pay you that much amount of money. I will give you money. Okay, 5,000 crores, 6,000 crores, whatever be the money. This money is called as recapitalization. Recapitalization. By the government. Now, this transaction can happen differently. For example, I can ask her, keep giving me money on monthly basis from your savings. Correct? This can be a method. I can ask her, please give me money quarterly. Or if I understand that she is in a dire need of the money, I can say that give me money only after 1 year. No in between transaction. Okay. So there are different kinds of bonds given to the banks. One thing is called as recapitalization bond, bank recapitalization. One thing is called as zero coupon recapitalization. Zero coupon. In your own words, right? Coupon means interest. Coupon means interest. Now, zero interest bonds, it means that it is zero interest bonds. It is zero interest bonds. Now, here the bank don't need to pay it on some recurring basis, monthly, quarterly. It is being, in the specific case of zero coupon, it is called as held to maturity. Held to maturity. There will be a date fixed that, okay, I have government has asked the bank, okay, you return me in 15 years. Therefore, it is a long-term investment, first of all. Here, bank is like, for 15 years, I have got a very good enough time. I'll be working on these NPAs. And moreover, I'll be using this money to give loan to the prudent players in the market, prudent corporations in the market, so that I can earn money, good amount of money from them. And therefore, after 15 years, I'll be able to pay back to the government and I'll get out of this kind of structural issues, structural debt, basically. Now understood what do you mean by zero coupon, zero interest rate? Here simply it is happening. It is called as specific bank. Specific bank means that the particular bond cannot be exchanged with any other bank. If I'm helping particular bank, it is for that particular bank only. You will get to understand that when I'll be teaching you the topic of discounting system, bill of discounts. There you will understand that. Specific period, for example, 15 period or 20 years period, whatever be the period we decide, held to maturity category. Government cannot ask that before 5 years, let's, close the bond. Therefore, this is just like, injecting the bank with currency, injecting the bank with money. There was a question in UPSC also, there had been a steady increase in the bank recapitalization from the government. In 18 or 19, the question was there. There has been a steady increase. No, it is not a gradual process that government is giving recapitalization. Sometimes only. You don't find a steady consumption of medicine. This is like a medicine. Okay, only when you are sick, then only you take the medicine. Simply, whenever a bank is in the need of money, then only government recapitalizes them to save the economy. There are certain advantages and disadvantages. No investment risk. Fixed returns are there. After a long term, you have already decided it. Risk-free return over a long period. Okay, this is like long-term investment from the government itself, suitable for long-term investments. Do not offer regular income because zero coupon means no interest rate. Therefore, you don't get regular income from the the loan you have provided. Basically, if you invest into shares or equities, future and options also, you get regular dividends from them. But here you will not get. Long period of maturity, it is a problem actually. Very long period of maturity, more susceptible to interest rates, not suitable for short-term investments. But government is the long-term player. You see that the industries, for example, post-independence, government invested in heavy-duty industries. What was the purpose? Because private sector cannot enter that arena. Government is spending DRDO, different projects we are doing into the space sector because private player cannot take it up right now. Government will provide the conducive atmosphere for them, then let them have certain entry. Right now, going forward, like DRDO, there also we are involving certain private players to manufacture in-house products. Okay, like Atmanirbhar Bharat, defense manufacturing projects, we are starting there. Into the space sector also, we are using Atmanirbhar policy for the creation. Similarly, here also, government is saying that long-term investment to save the banks can be done only by the government. Once everything is stabilized, then you have understood the word strategic disinvestment. Okay, then what will happen? Private players. We want more private players into the banking system. You have seen the HDFC doing the best in the banking system right now. Its shares are also performing best in the Nifty. Got the point? So thank you everyone. I hope you enjoyed the class. And yes, that has been told to me because 120 seats will only be there, and like last time also into the RRR, Ruthless Rapid Revision program, few students were late, and then situation was like could get admission, some could not get. Okay.